Yo, call me a game kids the way between you I'm leaving no space. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Games Kids. Today, and only today, that's right, I am trying something fun, different, and very heavy for me, which is ranking Sonic games based on Sonic's portrayal and personality. So as you can see, I've tried to order the games where mostly dialogue is in there. I tried to keep the classic games out of it because I know there's some personality in there through cutscenes, but I tried to keep it iterations of games where there were actual, dialogue, whether it was in boxes or spoken words or anything. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So as you can see here, I have Peak Sonic, Himothy Sonic, Solid Sonic, Sonic-ish, and Not My Sonic. Now let's start with Sonic Adventure. I feel like Sonic Adventure for me is Himothy Sonic. I don't think he is at his peak yet, right, where he is like full on, cocky, snarky, got his full, shonen energy that I really adore. But I think for the most part, the character is portrayed pretty well. You get a sense of care for his friends.
Watch out! You're gonna crash! Ah!
Throughout the journey, which I think is important to a lot of us as Sonic fans, right? You also get, a mix of seeing a bit of his depth. Obviously, I always point out to, that final scene where instead of wanting to just kill Chaos, he's kind of like, hey, how do we free him so that he's not just sealed? So you get a bit of that heart of Sonic. It does a good showcase of showing Sonic's love for adventure and journeying and all that stuff. So for me, Sonic Adventure Sonic is Himothy Sonic. Sonic Adventure 2 Sonic, for me, Peak Sonic. I love it. This is where I feel like the cool attitude is finally portrayed. It is shown and it is in full display over here. I mean, right from the beginning, you just see, I feel like this game starts and Sonic is just grown up, and he's starting to feel like, bro, I've been doing this for a long time and I'm him, from going down out of the helicopter, even as that cheesy line, no food or movies, I'm out of here. Like his interactions with Shadow the Hedgehog, I feel are really good. The way he tries to, protect the Earth is super fucking dope. I love especially, the ending, how, he does the fake out with the Chaos Emerald. I love, obviously, how he is a Super Sonic. His interactions with the gang, I feel like, are really good. Even to, he's just so cool. Even when he's chilling in jail after being locked up from the government, he's just out there stretching. He's still being quippy and making his remarks. I feel like he's got a back and forth with Eggman finally, really. And I feel like his personality in this game, for me, immaculate. I love how he's portrayed in Sonic Adventure 2. Alright, now Sonic Advance game's not too heavy on dialogue, right? But I will put it in Solid Sonic. I think, it is still the same personality of Sonic that's exuded through, the old modern day, right? But I think there's not much to really go with. He kind of has some fun back and forth with the characters. You get a bit of his coolness, when he's trying to save Vanilla towards the end of the game, with the dive. Like, you get a bit of that cool energy Sonic has. He's definitely got, like I said, his spunk and his even energy through just how he exudes gameplay wise, how he moves around and stuff. I think he's a pretty solid Sonic in the advanced games. Again, Sonic games where his personality can shine too much because it's not a cutscene heavy game, but still pretty good. See, for me, Sonic Battle Sonic is Himothy because I feel like the cutscenes in the game showcase a little bit more of that, grungy style. You get a bit more snarky remarks. I think obviously inherently it being a fighting game has a bit more snarky dialogue throughout it. So I think for me, Himothy Sonic appears very well in this game. All right, Sonic Heroes Sonic, for me, I'm gonna go with Solid Sonic. Now, the reason why is because I think in Sonic Heroes, the game is a little bit more silly, right? So you do get a bit more of Sonic's personality in the way, how, I love in the beginning how he's running backwards, holding the Eggman letter. I like how the levels start with him speaking with the gang a little bit, but the cutscenes with him just feel a little silly. Even I don't know, they try to do a dialogue with him and Sonic and Shadow towards the middle of the game, but it doesn't hit nowhere as near as in Sonic Adventure 2. It's kind of just like, what are you doing here, Shadow? Like something just, I don't know, everything about it just feels kind of more silly and not really raw. I do think there are some moments, where he cares about his team. I love especially when you get to the egg carrier, the egg area at the end of the game, and he's just standing on the ship, let's get you, Eggman. I feel like there's ways and moments where he kind of shines here, but there's not too much going on for him. Alright, so Sonic's personality in Shadow the Hedgehog, I think he's funny, I guess. Can we please get that scene, where he says, let's party, when Shadow gives his backstory? Can we please get that scene in here? Maria!
Looks like the party's getting started. Time to rock and roll!
Yeah, honestly, just for that, I'm putting him in Timothy Sonic. All right, now Sonic Rush Sonic for me, in Sonic Rush and Sonic Rush Adventure, for me, it's Timothy Sonic, right? There are a lot of dialogue moments in those games, whether it be with Blaze or Tails or Sonic or Marine, and I think Sonic's personality shines so well in this game because he's got a good sense of, wanting to save the day, right? He's got a great banter back and forth with Eggman. He's got great interactions with Blaze. You feel a bit of that conflict.
Have a nice ball, you stupid bitch.
Up until the point, where they have to befriend each other. I love, even with the in-game cutscenes when he's turned to Supersonic, how cool it looks, whether he's fighting, the back and forth with Blaze that he has towards the end of the game. Like, I feel like a lot of his personality shines super well. And even in Sonic Rush Adventure, when he's working with Blaze, I feel like just, again, you get a cool sense of his personality. You get a lot of also personality through the gameplay, how he's doing the tricks, how he's moving. I love how he does the little dances when he gets, the good ranks in the game. So I feel like Sonic's personality is really fire in the Rush games. All right, Sonic Riders Sonic, peak Sonic for me. I love him in the Riders games, and again, the reason for that is, for me, he does exactly what he does in the Sonic Adventure titles, where you get a good sense of him being raw as fuck. Like, he is so cool in these games. Like, there's no reason for this extreme gear to be as cool as it is, but he looks raw in it. I love that he feels this sense of rivalry with whoever he's racing against. I love that when there's story stakes going on, he takes it seriously, right? But I also love that there's silliness. There's a lot of funny, he has a lot of funny facial expressions in this game. I feel like there's a lot of comedy moments. So while the game isn't necessarily focused on him as much, because the gang is heavily involved, I just feel like his personality shines so fucking well in the cutscenes, in the moments between him and Jet, in the moments with him and his friends, and everything. Everything about Rider Sonic, peak. All right, Sonic 06 Sonic, I'm giving it to Timothy. Now, the reason I would not put it in peak is, yes, I do like the long quills. Yes, I do like the more serious tone, right? But I do think some of the inherent silliness of the game in terms of, him dying, right? And certain moments where I feel like there's stuff he could have dodged or stopped, but he doesn't, I don't know, because of the game, like, he is sort of, I don't know how you say it, held back a little bit, right? I feel like that's the problem with the game. It's like I said, I think stylistically in this game, he's fantastic. And I think when he does shine personality-wise, even when he's got his moments with Elise, I think it's very cute, it's very endearing. You're getting a sense of heart and exploration and freedom, even from the beginning when he's doing, his crazy spins around the city, or he's pushing the robot and kicking them down. Like, I feel like there's a lot of moments here where he is almost peak Sonic. But like I said, I think inherently, because the game, the game's story is sometimes silly, he gets in scenarios where, like, I feel like this isn't fully Sonic, Rival Sonic, I'm gonna put in Sonic-ish. The cutscenes in the game are pretty minimal, and they don't really do much about his personality. It's kind of just like, hey, maybe I'll chase you, let's start this race. Like, it's really not highlighted really well, but it's not necessarily like anti-Sonic, or really not my Sonic. All right, Sonic and the Sticky Rings, peak Sonic. Again, you get a perfect mix in these games. And you know what? Honestly, while I'm at it, I'm going to put Black Knight. Where's Black Knight? Sonic, Storybook Sonic. Incredible iteration of the character. I feel like this is where they fully lean in to Sonic being this shonen character, right? He acts shonen in the way that, like, he feels like the bravest person there. He feels like he's ready to take on any situation, no matter what. He's got silliness. He's got, funny moments, but, like, he is so fucking raw. I mean, some of the best moments in this series stem truly from Sonic and the Black Knight, especially. I mean, like, even just every way he's talking about life and how life has its end, and that he wants to make the best of it. Even the cheesy moment with the handkerchiefs with Shara, even, bro, to the point where he's sitting on the fucking chair, pointing a lamp, a GD lamp.
Your Jordans are completely fake.
And a Razor Jin, I think, is so raw. Like, this version of Sonic is raw. It's incredible. It's so well displayed through the art in the game. Fantastic iteration of the character. It's unfortunate he's stuck in these games a little bit because they're definitely flawed. Sonic Chronicles, I mean, I would say it's solid. Obviously the game itself has its issues, but I mean, his personality isn't really the issue in the games. He's got some cool back and forth with the gang. Like I said, there's nothing offensive here, but nothing too grandiose. Sonic Unleashed Sonic, peak. I think this is also a peak iteration of the character. I think, like I said, you get a perfect mix of a character who is brave, a character who is strong, a character who wants to help out Chip and obviously save the world. He's got great banter back and forth with Dr. Eggman. He's got great banter with Chip, and even, obviously through the animated shorts they dropped for Sonic Unleashed at the time with Chip. And I feel like even from Night of the Werehog and the cutscenes in the game, and even just towards the ending, the crazy cutscenes, just throughout the game, I just feel like Sonic's personality is so well tuned. Even when the world is ending, just the idea of them exploring the world together and him kind of enjoying it through whatever is going on, I think is incredible. And I think his personality is showcased so well in Sonic Unleashed. All right, this is where I feel like things start to teeter, right? Sonic Color Sonic is Sonic-ish, right? This is where I feel like this is the first time I feel like you get Sonic's full character in a game, and he just feels Sonic-ish. So this is where it takes a step back in terms of raw energy, and he sort of becomes, more slapstick, Saturday morning, cartoony, kind of like Satam. And I think it's still Sonic, which is why I think it's Sonic-ish, but definitely not raw energy Sonic. It doesn't feel like he's taking what's going on too seriously, because like inherently I feel like the idea of Sonic and the Sonic Colors is pretty fun. Sonic, Eggman builds an amusement park in space, so I think it's inherently fun. But even when he finds out that the planet's being drained basically thanks to the Whisk, I feel like that never gets fully taken seriously, and I feel like he laughs at a lot of scenarios. And like I said, it's not necessarily bad. I still think he is Sonic, but this is where we get into the more funny writing of Sonic that doesn't necessarily work the same. Free Riders, I also think is Sonic-ish. I mean, you get brief moments in cutscenes with him and the gang, and the story is much more comedy based, where it's just character banters and you're getting PNG stuff. So it's not offensive. I wouldn't even say it's a solid Sonic. It's just he's Sonic-ish sometimes. Generation Sonic, I mean, I guess solid, right? Obviously, the game itself doesn't really do much in terms of story. You kind of just run into characters, you get a quick piece of dialogue with them. But when Sonic is, being himself in moments, whether he encounters classic Sonic or he's having the brief moments where he's actually talking in cutscenes, I feel like it is him. And even though it is a little more silly towards the final battle, towards the little moments in the game you get throughout, or even the ending, where he tells classic Sonic you're gonna have a great future, I feel like his character is still portrayed pretty well, and I still like him in there. Lost World Sonic, man, I don't know. I'm going to put him in Sonic-ish, right? The only thing about Sonic Lost World is that it is, if you thought Colors was slapstick, Lost World, I feel like, is 10 times worse. I feel like because of the characters he's interacting with, he's inherently just cracking way more jokes. I will say some of the jokes are really funny. I still think he does a good job of bantering and making fun of the enemies at hand. But I think because who he's arguing against is inherently lame, right? That I feel like his personality gets, pushed backwards. That he's sort of let into just making joke after joke after joke after joke. So like I said, it's not bad, right? But it's not the coolest portrayal of the character in any sense. All right, and honestly, I think this is the only place this is going. Sonic Boom in general, not my Sonic. I've said this time and time again. I know a lot of people find Sonic Boom funny, but I hate Sonic Boom Sonic. And the reason for that is, for me, Sonic Boom Sonic feels like it's just like he feels like he's in a sitcom where it's like Friends almost. We're like, yeah, Friends is a funny show, but it feels like he's just an adult chilling in Sonic's body, and like he's just bored of everything. His whole thing is almost like he's depressed. He's barely having fun. He's just annoyed at everything around him. And I know that's still part of Sonic in some ways. Sometimes being a little frustrated or bored, but like there's no sense of cool action for him. He's mainly just, I don't know, he feels so boring in this. He's just not my Sonic, not the Sonic I love. Sonic Forces Sonic, again, goes into Sonic-ish. I think the game itself does a disservice of showing off the character, right? But for the moments he is in there, he does make some pretty good quips. I do like some of his dialogue, but it doesn't feel like Sonic. Sonic being trapped in jail for months doesn't necessarily feel right. And even Sonic needing as much help as he needed in the game doesn't truly feel true to the character. character. You know, I do like the idea that he hangs out with the rookie, you know, and he's, you know, wanting to be your friend, and he's still cool. Like when Sonic's on a scene camera, I'm like, that's my guy, love him, you know, and I'm having a good time when he's there. But it's still just, it's Sonic-ish, it's not full Sonic. Team Sonic Racing, I feel like also goes into Sonic-ish, right? The whole story is just comedy based. You know, you have these cutscenes where it's just, you know, dialogue boxes in there, and they're pretty funny. You know, he's got some pretty good interactions, whether it be with Sonic and Shadow and Silver, Eggman, or whoever. But for the most part, it's just like, here's banter, here's banter, here's banter, here's nothing serious. You know, there are some funny moments, and some moments you're like, oh shit, okay, he kind of roasted that guy. But it feels like this game is just Sonic Twitter takeover, but like in a game cutscene. Oh, Sonic Frontiers, I think, is Himothy Sonic. Now, the reason I don't put him all the way on top is I feel like we are missing one more layer. I do think because the story is a little more chill, Sonic is inherently a little more relaxed in Sonic Frontiers. He's a little more calm. You're not getting as much of a crazy, cocky, you know, over anime Sonic. He's a little more chill, but I do think he is still Himothy Sonic. You know, whether the dialogue he has slowly with his friends, you know, trying to teach them about life and, you know, how to live it, and telling Knuckles, you know, go explore the world, telling Knuckles, encouraging his friends to explore the world. Obviously, Super Sonic in general as a characterization, I think, is incredible in this game, and I think honestly carries him a lot. He is so cool when he's Super Sonic. In fact, I would have loved if he had more dialogue as Super Sonic. I know the idea is to keep him cool, right, in those moments and not talk as much, but even then, I would have loved more moments where Sonic is just talking to himself in the open zone, right? I feel like dialogue is often just locked when you go to characters, and, you know, like I said, the dialogue is just very relaxed, but like I said, he shines in the big moments. He's still cool, he's still lovable, and I adore him here. He is Himothy Sonic. Murder of Sonic, I would also put in Himothy, not necessarily peak, because again, the stakes are much lower, and obviously he's not in most of the game because he's dead, but the moment Sonic is on screen, he's the show stealer. You know, he's funny, he's got the most charming smile, he's got the most charming personality in the room. Like, he is him when he walks in the room, which is why I would put him in the Himothy spot. Sonic Dream Team Sonic, a re-release, I would also put in Himothy. The game is sort of obviously limited story-wise. I think he's got some cool animations that show off his personality, some nice snarky remarks he makes, but like I said, I think the limited scope of the story, you know, just having him in a room, sometimes just saying something funny or something cool, you know, it is what it is. I still think he's Himothy in the game. He's got some good moments with the gang, right? But it's nothing too crazy. So that's it for the most notable games. In terms of media, I at least tried to put the major media pieces. So I think Sonic Satam for me is a solid Sonic. You know, he's got some funny energy. You know, he's energetic throughout. Obviously, you know, we don't want to show too many scenes because of copyright shit. But I think, you know, he's a very silly version of the character. He's still cocky. He's still cool. And he's still him. Sonic Underground Sonic, I would put him in the same category. Sonic X, peak Sonic for me. Obviously, I think this is literally, you know, Shonen Sonic through and through, right? He's a character, you know, it's funny when you look back at Sonic X, he's not on screen as much as you would like him, but when he's the show stealer. You know, I love how you can see this kid. I feel like this is when I realized how fucking cool Sonic is, right? The way he would just lay back, the way he would be funny, you know, when he was trapped in scenarios he didn't want to be in, the way he would always care for his friends, the way he would be raw as fuck in a fight, like he is him through and through. Movie Sonic, I'm gonna count this for Movie Sonic 1 and 2. I think he is a solid interpretation of Sonic. I think he is almost getting to Himothy status, right? I think we need Sonic Movie 3 to get there. But I think for the most part, you know, for being a Sonic that was raised on Earth that is more comedy-based, right? I don't think he is at the level of raw coolness yet, but he is a very fun character. I still think he's got cool moments. You know, obviously he's kicked Knuckles' ass. He's had some fun moments, you know, whether it's in you know, I love the snowboarding segment or when he's going through the robots, but he is a little still more silly, which doesn't put him quite at Himothy Sonic for me, but he's still a solid Sonic. And Prime Sonic, a very controversial one that people talk about it. I will still put him in, where am I gonna put Prime Sonic? I'm gonna put it in solid. I know a lot of people have a problem with this version of the character, but I still think he is still cool. He is still funny. He is a different version of the character where I feel like his whole thing is sort of about, you know, learning actions of his consequences, which I know shouldn't be Sonic. Sonic should just, you know what to do, and he should be already him, right? But for the most part, I still think he is a cool version of the character. And there you have it. That is my ranking of the Sonic personalities throughout the years. Let me know what is your favorite personality of Sonic through different media. What's the one you want them to do more of, and all of that jazz. All right, thank you all for watching. You're the best. Peace out.